Hello everyone. Today, I am Erica Meiji Pius from Economics 2A. So, welcome to my video discussion. So, our subject for today, it's all about living in the IT era. So, as we all know, technology is everywhere and it's how we bank, how we learn, and how we connect with the world. We're living in the IT era and it's transforming our lives in countless ways. It's make it's making work much more easier and faster. It's making our life much more easier than before, and that's how technology evolved around the time, around the years, through generations and generations. So today, we'll be seeing some of the most prominent IT trends, examining the issues and challenges they present, and discussing how we can navigate this dynamic environment. So, for today's lesson, we will be talking about today about E and challenges. So, first we have trends. Let's start by looking at some of the key IT trends shaping our world. The IT era is characterized by rapid technological advancements that are transforming businesses, industries, and society as a whole. So we have here first industry. Industry is technology is now an integral part of every industry, driving innovation, efficiency, and growth. So the use of IoT, or it means Internet of Things, and automation is transforming manufacturing, logistics, and other sectors. So think about how robots are now being used in factories, or how smart devices are making our homes more efficient. And that's how technology connects to trends that influences industry. Next, we have here banking. Banking industry, or online banking or internet banking, has become increasingly popular in the Philippines, offering convenience and more accessible. So this trend has significantly impact or change how Filipinos manage their finances, and not just in the Philippines, not just the Filipinos, but all around the world. This is how technology influences in banking. So it changed how how us as people, manage our finances. It's easier than ever to access our accounts and make transactions online. So it make instead of going to like cities, going to the that bank, that like instead of shopping, going anywhere, doing it face to face, instead of doing that, we can access it, and it's much more easier in accessing it online, paying our bills. So nakakatipid tayo sa gas, at hindi tayo napapagod kasi isang click lang. We have different ways in paying our bills, and we can still, so instead na pupunta ka ng merkado, pwede ka na lang mag-order online, like we have Grab to para maka-order ka ng food, yung mga damit mo. Instead of going to the superstore, you can get it online, like Shopee, Timo, ganyan, Lazada. And that's how technology connects to trends that influences in banking industry. Lastly, we have uh, education. Education in our generation, our era right now, we have e-learning. It is facilitated by Learning Management System, or LMS. It is becoming a common way to deliver and manage education. This trend has implications for both students and educators. It offers flexibility and access to learning resources, but it also presents new challenges. Like before, um, uh, teachers uses like nagsusulat sila ng board, nagsusulat sila sa Manila paper or whiteboard to discuss the lesson to the students, like uses books like that. But today, in our era, since we're living in the IT era, students, teachers uses online resources where it's making like they presented their discussion through PowerPoint presentation. Like that, na hindi na kagaya noon na kailangan pa talaga nilang magbibili sa tindahan ng Manila paper. Ano pa ngayon, ginagamitan na lang nila ng PowerPoint presentations or any resources to connect their discussion to the students. And that's how technology connects to trends rapidly. That's how technology evolves and influences educations as well. So if may trends, may magandang may magandang influensya naman yung IT, meron din siyang hindi mabuti. And that is issues and challenges. While these trends offer many benefits, they also present challenges and issues that we need to address. So, we have here in the industry. So, with the introduction of computer system at work, one main issue raised is maintaining the computer system security and integrity. This opens the doors for malicious software that can be shared, whether it's intentionally or not, to the entire organization. We have here we called malicious software or malware. It is a general term for any type of software that can cause harm to a computer system, and it's like a digital virus that can spread and wreak havoc. So, we have here the examples. We have here examples of malware. First, we have virus. Dili na siya hindi to siya COVID-19 yung mga ganon sa computer na ano siya. We have here virus. These are programs that can replicate themselves and spread to other files or programs. They can corrupt data or even take control of your computer. It once inside the computer, it usually performs malicious actions such as destroying data or deleting processing files in the computer, causing it to crash. That's how virus works. Next, second, we have worms. Worms is these are self-replicating programs that can spread across network without human interaction. They often exploit vulnerabilities in software to gain access to your system. So it also an act of virus by replicating itself, slowing down the internet connection, causing damage to multiple parts of the system. So compared to virus, a worm causes less damage. However, worm can also act as virus by replicating itself, causing damage to multiple parts in the system. That's how worm works. Next, we have Trojan. So, Trojans, these are programs that disguise themselves as legitimate software but contain malicious codes. They can steal your personal information, install other malware, or even give hackers remote access to your computers. So, once opened it can cause damage to the computer, and that's how Trojan works. Next, we have spyware. Spyware is a software that aims to gather information about an organization or a person without his or her knowledge. Uh, This type of malware secretly monitors your online activity and collects personal information such as your passwords, browsing history, and credit card details. And an extension to this is called adware, the one who controls the device without the user's knowledge, such, such as keystroking or spy cams. That's how it works. So we should be more careful on making our personal information publicly. Next, lastly, we have ransomware. It is a type of malware that can block access to a victim's data. The hacker uses his or her technical knowledge or skills to gain unauthorized access to data or systems. This is a particularly dangerous type of malware that encrypts your files and demands payment to unlock them. It can be very difficult to recover your data if you're infected with ransomware. So, cryptic, crypto-viral extortion in which the victim's files are encrypted and the hacker would demand a ransom for the file to be decrypted. So, the hacker will be like in exchange of your files they will be demanding like ransom money for the file to be decrypted, like to be deleted, to be like, so these are the examples of malware that these are the these are the example of malware. So with these 5 examples, we should be careful on how we use computers or other digitals like smartphones or everything. We should be uh, we should be careful in making our personal information publicly, or like be careful on uh, opening links through emails or something, ads that we don't know, if hindi natin alam kung ano yun. Before clicking it, we should think first before clicking it. And that's how these examples of malware, that's how they work to gain access to your devices. Next, we have banking. If kaganina, napag-usapan natin kung how banking influence our daily lives, we also have the issues and challenges in banking. Online banking may be convenient, but there are also still skeptics to this, given the data sensitive data being transacted online, especially money, leaving customers irate and panic. So, while convenient, online banking raises concerns about data security and customers' trust, how we can ensure our financial information protected. So, sometimes, na-encrypted din yung mga personal information natin sa banking. Hindi rin siya safe. But it's very convenient naman. It's making our life easier. And, we should be more careful on trusting someone. Trusting our personal information, lalo na't hindi legit na resources. Next, we have education. So, while with online learning being accepted in school as being part of the teaching and learning, it does not necessarily mean students are constrained into using it. So, e-learning faces challenges such as adaptability, technical issues, time management, computer literacy, and self-motivation. These are major problems faced by students in e-learning and how to overcome it. How can we make sure everyone has the skills, has the resources they need to success in an online learning environment? First, we have adaptability struggle. So, students with traditional mindsets find it difficult to adapt. However, they need to accept the new learning circumstances with an open mind and heart. So, as we all know, nanggaling tayo sa pandemic, like na from face to face hanggang nag-explode yung pandemic na nakakaapekto sa ating lahat, not just in the students but all around the world, who like sa work, sa mga ginagawa natin araw-araw, and that's the reason why the technology more evolved, much more ning lumago siya. So this first major problems faced by students, yung ibang student talaga is hindi sila sanay. It's difficult to adapt na, but however, they need to learn to accept the new learning circumstances with an open mind and heart, lalo na pagkatapos ng pandemic. Mas na-evolve talaga yung paggamit ng teknolohiya, hindi lang sa bahay, hindi lang sa pang-araw-araw, pati rin sa pag-aaral. And we have here number 2. We have here technical issues. Many students are not provided with the high bandwidth or the strong internet connection that online courses require, and thus fail to catch up with online activities. So, kagaya ng mga mag-aaral, hindi lahat ng mga estudyante na bibigyan ng magandang connection ng internet. Minsan yung iba nakatira pa sa liblib na lugar, kaya mahina yung internet nila, kaya minsan nakakapsumitin na lang sila ng kanilang mga activities late na hindi siya sa mismong deadline na given by the teachers, hindi siya nasusumiti, and that's one of the major problems of not just in the students but every person that's not lalong-lalo na yung iba sa naka-home work from home, ganun. Mas hindi naman lahat ng tao nakakapag talaga ng internet connection, nakakapag stabilize ng internet connection. Yung minsan yung iba lalong-lalo na yung iba na walang-wala, ganun talaga. So that's one of the major problems faced by students right now. Next we have computer literacy. Lack of computer literacy is one of the major issues among students today. Many of them can operate with programs such as Microsoft Word and PowerPoint, and therefore they are not able to handle their files correctly. Furthermore, many students find fixing basic computer problems troublesome, as they have no knowledge in this area. Some of the students are struggling in this area since they don't have the knowledge in this part. So, having fundamental computer hardware with them participate in the class without interruptions in the ko. Ito yung mas kinakailangan ng mga estudyante, lalong-lalo na sa ngayon, dahil kadalasan sa mga pinapagawa ng maguro ay nasa online resources na sa mga ganitong pamamaraan. Kapag wala kang alam, hindi ka talaga makapagsumiti on time, since you don't have the knowledge to do it, but if you have the courage to do it, you will do it talaga, as long as you can submit it online talaga. If you encourage yourself na kaya kong gawin to, you can do it. Not computer literacy, it will teach us on how to use, on how to make activities using technology. But if hindi mo talaga gustong magturo, edi wala ka talagang malalaman. Pero if you have the encouraging yourself to learn how to do it, you will do it. And that's how we can have the knowledge to do it. Next, we have time management. time management is a difficult task for e-learners, especially for those online courses that requires a lot of time and intensive work balancing work and studies, especially those students. They have to balance their time to study and their time to work as well. So, because they have rarely have time to take the courses due to their various everyday commitments. Minsan they have that's time to do work than to study because kailangan magtrabaho kasi walang panggastos sa bahay, walang gagamitin sa pang-araw-araw, walang pambayad sa boarding house, walang pambili ng pagkain, yung mga ganon, they need to work to pay their bills, financial expenses talaga. So, if you're a hardworking student, you need to balance uh, yung pag-aaral at pagtatrabaho as well. That's how time management teaches us to balance study and work. So, yung iba, hindi sila mali-left behind kasi nababalansin nila yung pag-aaral at pagtatrabaho. Minsan yung iba, kulang yung oras dahil mas malaki yung oras nila sa pagtatrabaho kaysa pag-aaral. And we need to understand them as well. Because we don't know the story behind all their hard work. We need to appreciate those working students who manage to balance their time studying and working as well. Lastly, we have self-motivation. Uh, it is an essential requirement. However, many onliners lack it, much to their surprise after enrolling in distance learning courses. So, students need to understand that it is necessary in order to reap the e-learning's benefits in the future. So, kagaya ng sabi ko nga na nasa era tayo na IT era na tayo kung saan halos gumagawa na halos makikita natin sa paligid, sa pang-araw-araw, teknolohiya talaga ang nakikita natin. So, self-motivation sa sarili, lalong-lalo na sa mga estudyante, it is one of the major problem talaga siya, yung nawawalan ka ng sa sarili, yung dinadown mo yung sarili mo na hindi ko kaya to, hindi ko kaya makapagtapos, hindi ko kayang gawin to kasi wala akong ganyan. Students need to find motivation to follow the educational trends. Yung napapag-iwanan ka na ng panahon kasi kagaya na lamang yung kaklase mo, meron siyang laptop, meron silang internet. Hindi naman kasi lahat ng estudyante na bibigyan ng pareha pa na antat ng buhay. Minsan yung iba wala talaga kaya kailangan pa nilang paghirapan bago nila makuha. And that's okay. We don't discard that kind of mind, like that kind of hard work kasi ginagawa nila parang gumagawa sila ng paraan para lang makagawa, makasumite. And that's how you motivate yourself that you can do it. Wag mong i-downgrade yung sarili mo na hindi ko to kaya, mas kaya nila yan kasi meron silang ganyan. If you will do it, you can do it talaga naman. That's how self-motivation encourages students talaga. And lalo nga sa sinabi ko, nandito na tayo sa IT era and we need to embrace the changes of our lives. Like, hindi naman naging masasabi natin na ganyan. We need to embrace the changes of our society, the ever-evolving of technology through generations. Hindi naman natin kailangan set sa mindset natin na dito lang tayo. We need also to encourage ourselves to embrace the changes in our like in our kapaligiran, yung mga nangyayari sa ating paligid kung saan mas mas nakikita na talaga natin yung yung mga kaibahan. Lalong-lalo na sa pag-aaral, may makikita na tayo na iba-ibang pagbugso ng teknolohiya, lalong-lalo na sa ating mga pag-aaral. Next, we have health. Lastly, we have health. Patients' records are always kept confidential. However, with the introduction of technology and with hospitals and clinics learning towards automation, patients' records have shifted from paper to digital. With this, concerns regarding data security and data confidentiality of patients have increased. But why is there such an interest in patient records? According to the International Association of Privacy Professionals, a medical record is more valuable than a credit card. On the black market, according to the World Privacy Forum, a medical record including a name, address, social security number, and health ID number typically goes for $50 on the online black market, whereas an active credit card sells for just $3,000. $3. This make it more lucrative for cyber criminals as patient data becomes digital. Especially for those known people, this makes them more uh, concerns regarding with the data security and confidentiality of the results. So in the Philippines, hospitals are required to comply with the Data Privacy Act, DPA of 2012, and implement data protection measures in their data processing systems to protect the confidentiality of their patients' personal information and medical records. Violations of data privacy involve penalties under the DPA, or the penalty for unauthorized disclosure for personal information is 1 million pesos. The penalty extends to 2 million if the act involves sensitive personal information. Especially in the Philippines, we have known personal people, and so if nakita sila ng tao na pumunta ng hospital kasi nagpa-check up nga, if that person is interested in you to just to downgrade you, they will pay higher money just to get an personal information of your health. And that's how technology around that time, that concerns the that's technology around involves around that connects uh, that influences the health. And that's how technology concerns the people, especially the information. I have I have I have someone I know. There's someone I know nga she goes to Cebu just to have her check up. And then, the result of her checkup is hindi naman talaga yan basta-basta lalabas na agaran. So, naabutan siya ng kanyang pag-uwi dito sa atin, and that's why, instead of going back there just to get the results, the doctor sent it to her through messages, through email, and that's the kaya mas lalong umaangat yung concern ng mga patients, lalong-lalo na nasa era na tayo na puno ng teknolohiya. Instead of going there, the doctor sent it to her, and that's one of that's one of the active concern that patients nafi-feel, kasi minsan mas naano sila sa kanilang trust issues, baka kasi yung doktor ganto, ganyan, 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 ganyan. Especially for those known people. So, sometimes those known people, they get a personal doctor na lang instead of, kasi nga meron yung mga kwak-kwak doctor na binibigay yung information sa iba, like, hala, si ano, may ganyan pala, yung may ganyan, ganyan. So, nalalaman na ng ibang tao, lalo kilalang kilala ka. Yung mga ganyan, ginagamit yung personal information mo, especially in your health, that's a confidential information. So, as I end my video discussion, I encourage everyone to I encourage everyone to have uh, an active personality when it comes to digital, when it comes to technology. Let's be stay informed, engaging in critical discussions and working together so we can shape a positive and sustainable future in the IT era. So we can give a positive future for those kiddos in the future generations, na hindi nila titingnan yung teknolohiya as in negative way. They will look it as a positive way to live their life much more easier and faster, to live their life to the fullest that they wanted to, not in a way nga tinitingnan nila yung teknolohiya na uh, sa negatibong paraan. Let's encourage them to look the positive way instead of the negative way. And I hope this video discussion leaves you knowledge, and I hope you learned something from my video discussion today. Once again, I am Erica Meiji Pius from Bachelor of Arts in Economics. That's all. Thank you.